In the previous generation, we had a lot of people venture into employment. Currently, employment is saturated. And also looking at the dynamics in which our country has evolved into, currently we have a very big space for entrepreneurs. The biggest challenge for entrepreneurs in the African setting has always been capital. But at least at the moment, we have an opportunity for professionals or entrepreneurs who emanate from their profession. So for instance, if you are an architecture, you can easily set up entrepreneurship surrounded around architecture. If you are a teacher, you can set up entrepreneurship around being a teacher. That is offering tertiary tutorship programs, mentorship. You get. So yes, you are a teacher, you are into even formal employment, but also you've managed to get these tertiary or other sources of income that are basically entrepreneurship.
The point is there has to be a balance. And like Hudson has said, the balance was done away with or was interfered with when we prolonged this educational system that was supposed to be ended at some point and had a change. So we cannot all venture into entrepreneurship, and we cannot all work in the working space. And that is where most young people find frustration, because this education system that we're talking about prepared most of us to expect ready jobs, because people have degrees in the houses, people have masters, so they're expecting, I have the papers, you're supposed to give me a job because you are a corporate company. That is what is expected from the system that I am from. You understand?
So, hi guys, welcome to yet another episode of the Power Space podcast. And today in the episode, it's not your normal feminine hosting voice, but yeah, I'm Raymond, and this is the 8th episode of the Power Space podcast. If you've not listened or watched the previous episodes, you can get to listen so that you can maybe get to catch up with our conversation which we are going to have. But before that, I have some two awesome people with me in studio. And ladies first, or
Yeah, ladies first, I mean. So should I start? Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Kendi, or as they call me, the confidently controversial one, Kendi Duff. And yeah, hope you enjoy engaging with everyone.
Yes, hi everyone. Welcome to another sizzling episode of Power Space podcast. Apparently, here is where most youthful conversations take place, and I've recently realized that even our grandparents are on TikTok. So now they'll start sharing with you those videos that you had seen previously, like let's say in 2021, and they'll be thinking that they are the new trendy videos. So that's what happens here at Power Space. Something that we've already done some few years in. It will come to now be the conversation 3 years later. And very privileged and honored to be in this space and to contribute to this conversation. So thank you, Ray, for this opportunity. And we're hoping to have a very fruitful conversation.
Definitely. So, to start the conversation, I want just to throw a not random, but just a random fact. Because I wanted our conversation because we're in celebration of the International Youth Day.
Okay.
And there's a fact that I came across the internet. It said that over 60% of the African population is young people. Definitely, even in Kenya. Actually, it's in Africa. There's this triangle. Do you know the triangle that shows the population thing?
Yeah.
I think for Africa it's something upright. Then in Europe it's something.
The elder generation is the more populated one. Yes. Especially we used to do that. We used to have that diagram back in was it geography? No, history. No, social studies.
No, yes, so did.
We used to have that diagram where, for instance, I remember we had the population in Germany that used to show that the age, where people are upper Jew, they're the most populated, and the youth, they are the least populated. Yeah, but I think it's true, according to what Ray is saying, that in Africa and in other African countries, there is a very the large population is a youthful population. But it's because of the African generation is giving birth to a lot of.
That means Africans are
Okay, before we go to the factors that are leading to us having a very huge youth of population, so the fact continued and saying that definitely making it the most youngest, we can say the youngest continent in the world. So, but despite the fact that our population in Africa is made up of over 60% of the youths, there's also another disturbing fact of the youth unemployment is as high as the population of the youth is. So, which according to that fact or statement, it's stated that most African countries remain above 30%. The percentage is over 30% of the unemployed youths, which now pushes the young people to seek alternatives to things like maybe activism, innovation, or entrepreneurship, which now brings me to my first question to you guys.
Yes.
Do you think the current I'm not so sure about the curriculums in other African countries, but let us take an example of our country. Do you think there was a recent change from the former 844 education system to the new CBC curriculum based?
Yeah. Yes.
Competency based curriculum or
Yes, competency based curriculum.
Yeah, there's now a new thing being followed in the education system. So, do you think the whole education system in Africa is equipping us as the youths well enough to the current job market that are now emerging? Because the job market in this decade, they are different from the job opportunities that were in the previous decade. So I don't know. Your 2 cents on that?
I'll be very honest with that. I think the CBC, the competency-based curriculum, equips the students better. For instance, I think the kids at the moment have actually been trained and have been equipped with better skills than what the 844 used to equip. So basic skills like, for instance, things being taught in the home science, knitting, cooking, just about being independent and being able to be self-sufficient. I think the current crop of kids who are using the curriculum-based system are getting more skills, more life skills that are equipping them better in terms of survival. So, for instance, when you look at the skills that we have in terms of survival, they are not. We are not quite endowed. But when you look at the kids at the moment, they are being, every time there is a new thing they are doing, from just skills that can be able to enable them earn a living to even skills that can enable them to just survive their life. I think the current CBC is equipping them better for the coming generation. The previous 844, I don't think it equipped people for a better survival rate.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
For me, I would say from the 844, and now we are the new adults, if that's a thing. It was not the best direction to take for us because one,
844.
yes, longevity, and for longevity there has to be results that are seen. We cannot be spending 8 years in primary school, 4 years in high school, and then we take the next step to campus, and then we have all this knowledge in between our ears. we know a lot of things, right? But when we go out there, we cannot use all these things because one, we are not given the opportunities to do this. Why should a job expect you to have 8 years experience and have just finished my campus years? So first of all, education system has really failed us as the
Previous.
yes, the previous one. For the ongoing one, I would not say it is the best because at the end of the day, there's more to life than just the basic skills that they're getting in school. There's how to manage yourself as a person in terms of emotions, in terms of how you relate with people, in terms of finances. I feel like even talks or conversations about finances should start as early as you are 2 years, because we look at it from a point of right now, the young people that are existing, maybe you've gotten money at an early age. Money is good, 5 million, 10 million, but the management comes in as an issue because you did not get that basic skill. And that early age of from maybe class 1 to class 4 is the best time to equip people. So in as much as it's maybe better than what we had, there still needs to be an improvement for it to have better results in future for a better adult system when those kids become adults. Yeah.
Okay. For me, using Kenya as a case scenario for this question, I think the CBC is better than the 844. But I think now the problem here, everything now, the source of me thinking that this curriculum will not equip the current kids to when they are at a youthful age and looking for work and they are ripe enough to
Become adults.
they are adult. It's the thing has been politicized a lot, and once it has been politicized, the implementation process of it get messed up because at the moment you are hearing to actually something like 3 stories. The first story is this thing is a very good success, which most of these stories are of the success stories are coming from private institutions. Then something like some academies or public schools which are not so rural or not so badly off. The feedback you will get most is it's okay. Then now when you go maybe to now the very interior, the very rural places where even maybe infrastructures like road is a problem. Now it's where now everything is all messed up. And okay, because if we start talking about now the education thing, it's a whole rabbit hole we'll start digging up.
Yeah, but just to wind up, we can't speak about education without recognizing the evolution of also the education. Where the 844 system was an education that was supposed to produce a lot of middle class people.
Yeah.
So what we didn't realize is that we overdid it. The education system was long overdue. At the time it was supposed to be changed, it overstayed because these careers, the ones that are being created by the 844 system, they became flooded. And now there was need for a better coping education system. And the implementation of it was, let's say, give it even 10 years late. Because the people who are supposed to start now moving to the new form of education are already supposed to experience a migration. And a new education system was supposed to now come in place and be able to equip them better. That's why we are currently experiencing an issue of employment, but not an issue of underskilled.
Yeah.
We don't have an issue of underskilled. We have an issue of unemployment. We have a lot of people who are skilled, but they don't get the opportunities to implement the skills that they have.
Okay. Your statement has just triggered another question in my mind. Saying of there's a statement you spoke about. We get flooded in the market. So I have a question. Okay, there's employment, and is there a difference between employment and entrepreneurship, between the two terms?
Yeah, definitely. Entrepreneurs are business owners. Employment are people who are basically contracted or
Doing work for the entrepreneur.
they're committed to the entrepreneurs. Sure.
Okay, so my question is, do you think that entrepreneurship is the realistic path for young Africans or youths?
I think we cannot all be entrepreneurs, and we cannot all be 9 to 5 corporate people. So the point is there has to be a balance, and like Hudson has said, the balance was done away with or was interfered with when we prolonged this educational system that was supposed to be ended at some point and had a change. So we cannot all venture into entrepreneurship, and we cannot all work in the working space. And that is where most young people find frustration, because this education system that we're talking about prepared us, most of us, to expect ready jobs, because people have degrees in the houses, people have masters, so they're expecting, I have the papers, you're supposed to give me a job because you are a corporate company. That is what is expected from the system that I am from. You understand? But for entrepreneurship, it comes from thinking outside the box. And that is the point where maybe we did not get from the education system that we got. Entrepreneurship was, let me say, discouraged, because we are told you have to be a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, the professional part. But when it comes to you are allowed to be an artist, it was not encouraged. You are allowed to be a farmer, that was not encouraged, right? So it stems back from the education system that we as young people have received, and it also trickles down to the work system that we're having right now. A lot of joblessness, because most of the time we are expecting ready-made, because that is what we were taught to expect, instead of being equipped with being self-sufficient and independent. Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, very well in Kendi. The other thing about entrepreneurship and employment is that as the education system changes, we also experience changes in the economy and the different dynamics that our country has. So looking back at our country, we don't have a lot of entrepreneurs. Therefore, we experienced what we are saying, that in the previous generation, we had a lot of people venture into employment. Currently, employment is saturated. And also looking at the dynamics in which our country has evolved into, currently we have a very big space for entrepreneurs. The biggest challenge for entrepreneurs in the African setting has always been capital. But at least at the moment, we have an opportunity for professionals or entrepreneurs who emanate from their profession. So for instance, if you are an architecture, you can easily set up entrepreneurship surrounded around architecture. If you are a teacher, you can set up entrepreneurship around being a teacher. That is offering tertiary tutorship programs, mentorship. You get. So yes, you are a teacher, you are into even formal employment, but also you've managed to get these tertiary or other sources of income that are basically entrepreneurship. But lastly, just to conclude, is that the other thing is that our economy needs to evolve and to even now also accommodate the rising demands for higher paying jobs, increased cases of unemployment, and high turnover at workplaces. This will lead us to an economy we call a gig economy, whereby you just work 4 hours a day, move to the next job, work 4 hours, move to the next job. That is where our economy is at the moment. So we need to move away from purely entrepreneurship, purely committed work environment, and move into the new gig economy. That is what is the future for the youth.
Okay. Okay, nice thoughts. I like it. Then, that has just triggered another thing. Italy and Guns were in the same WhatsApp group triggers. Okay, so youth, we can say youth is equals to energy because youths are very energetic.
Yeah.
And which most of us feel that we can bring about this energy that we have to something like an industrial slash economical growth slash revolution. Well, so my question is, all these things, they will definitely have some kind of impact on our environment. One, something like an industrial growth or revolution, there's definitely waste. We can say we are going something like digital wise, where we'll maybe have something like digital innovations. But still in digital innovations, they are wasting it. Like what do we call this? Digital waste. Like there was a documentary I was watching on some West African country where I'm forgetting the right term for that waste, but there's a lot of e-waste, i.e. the USB cables, the machine, the laptop that you're using after 5 years, it breaks down wear and tear for the machineries that we're using. After the wear and tear, most of them, they maybe go to a certain dump site. Yeah. After an year, that place where we are dumping our waste, it's a whole hill or mountain of waste. So do you think, or how do you think we can at the same time
achieve a balance between industrialization and also be able to protect the environment?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think for Africa especially, we've not really experienced any kind of industrialization. And for even to be able to develop sustainable economies, we need to undergo those kind of industrialization.
You're saying we have not yet achieved any
industrialization
of our own.
Yeah, we've not yet achieved any. And for any sustainable economy or for any sustainable developed economy, it must undergo that phase, because that's the phase that creates now the jobs for the middle class people. The other thing is we need to develop a generation of moneyed people. We don't have dollar millionaires at the moment. It's because we've not been able to accumulate that kind of wealth. So the first thing is industrialization is what will take
Hold on that thought. There's a random fact I came across that still using Kenya as a case study in this. Say that 90%, actually it's over 90% of businesses and startups in Kenya die before they even get to a net worth of $1 million.
This is true.
So, that's so true.
How many businesses in Kenya are even worth? Is it what? Not $100,000? Very few.
Yeah.
That's around 14 million Kenya shillings. Very few businesses are worth that, because we're in an industry whereby it's either you have a big conglomerate or you either have a small business. So we don't have these. We've not been able to create a generation whereby we have families that have sustainable wealth, where the young people in those families can be able to even venture into life-fulfilling projects. You see, at the moment, all the ideas we are having, all the entrepreneurship ideas, or all the income-generating ideas we are having, they are to escape poverty.
Okay, just to cut you short, I've not yet had any answer to my question. How can we strike the balance between maybe getting to, okay, let's assume we've already got to the point where now we are having maybe a technological revolution or an economical revolution or industrial revolution. So how can we strike that balance with, at the same time, with preserving our environment?
So like I said, we must experience industrialization.
That's the first thing.
Yeah, we must. We can't run away from it. And the more we run away from it, the more we impoverish ourselves. So we must undergo through it. And even while we are going through it, because we already now know the consequences of it, we also need to be able that at the same time when we are going through it, we are also doing other measures that are also trying to rehabilitate what we are doing. For instance, we have a very big project happening in the East Africa called ECOP. It's a pipeline construction in Uganda and some parts of other
ECOP,
parts.
is it an abbreviation or the full name?
No, it's an abbreviation.
Full name? Okay, as you Google.
Yeah, so industrialization we must.
Okay, ECOP. Just check.
I hope utakat hii part.
Nah, I think it's getting cut. ECOP oil.
ECOP stands for East African Crude Oil Pipeline.
Okay.
Yeah. So ECOP, this is why you cut. So ECOP stands for East African. Hata nianze fresh. No, just continue. So ECOP stands for East African Crude Oil Pipeline. It's a major pipeline that is a 897-mile pipeline designed to transport crude oil from Lake Albert in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. That's covering 2 countries in East Africa. It's a huge pipeline project that is also expected to affect the area in terms of even displacing people and affecting the climate and environment sustainability of that place. So one thing, it's a good project in terms of when you look at it economically, but when you look at it climatically, it's not economical. So the only way we can do that is to also compensate on the other side as we try to rehabilitate. So for instance, we have the moment what we are calling carbon credits. So by carbon credits is trying to overcompensate or trying to compensate for the damage that has already been caused. Africa already has sufficient, let's say, forest cover that is enough for whatever we have, and if we can just build on that. So for instance, we just practice regular tree planting. We are we promote climate awareness just to ensure that at all times we are not lost in the industrialization.
And I also think for the young people in Kenya and in Africa in general, they're trying to voice their opinion in terms of industrialization, and they want to have a place on the table where they want to make the change, like he said, where we want to be the ones to say this is the direction we as Africans want to take. We do not want Westernization to be the only part that is part of us as Africans. We want to have our own voice. And that is where the difference comes in. As young people, we want the direction of us as Africans to take this certain direction, but maybe the older generation thinks whatever has already been there is enough for us. Yes.
Okay. So I want us to take, is it called a drastic turn to something a bit political? You are to our listeners and viewers, many people have been asking me, can we see the Kenyan Gen Z? So it's better to to have this discussion of the IYD with some Kenyan Gen Z. And speaking of Kenyan Gen Z, you are famous recently for your political wokeness. And most of these, let us call it political wokeness, was engineered and was
Influenced.
Yeah, was influenced more by social media. So I just have a quick question for you. What's your point of view of social media and its role in activism? Because as we recently saw, activism in Kenya for the last few months has been very much influenced by social media. So I don't know, what's your point of view on it? Kendi, we can start.
Okay, fine. For starters, like we said, young people don't have jobs. Secondly, we have our phones. We have Wi-Fi. We are mostly on our phones. So that gives us a chance to have conversations. So even if it's political conversations, we can easily have those conversations about issues that we feel are oppressing us. And in that process, activism comes out easily as compared to maybe in an era where social media was not as widely used as it is right now. So it is very easy for us to speak amongst ourselves and tell each other, I feel like this direction that we're taking is not the best. And then this other person will be like, yeah, I also see it in this angle, and I think whatever you're saying is okay. And the point is, the activism does not come with hate or at a bad place. It comes with, we want to see change. We want to see, if you promised us something, we want to see it happening. People have studied, like we talked about education. People have been in school. People have an understanding of their constitution, lawmaking, what is supposed to be done. So that understanding, knowledge is very important, because that understanding gives us a wide scope of what we expect, what is supposed to be happening, what is on the ground, because it is out there openly. So it should be easy for you to. So we are just out here questioning, why is this not happening? Why is this taking this direction and this turn? This whole global community that we're trying to create, even online, and as much as social media has its pros and cons, activism also creates a wide range of us understanding each other as young people, and understanding in terms of politics what we really expect for the sake of ourselves, our future, and for the kids that are coming after us. Yes.
Yeah, we want to use social media for everything. We want to use social media for marketing. We want to use social media for entertainment.
To even get to date.
Yeah, we want to use social media
To find love.
to find love, to get our partners.
Yeah.
So social media is a tool, is a medium, and just as it is, it's a tool, it's a medium. It can be used on anything, be it politics, be it love, be it education, be it matters affecting the society. So therefore, I feel that social media is and will play a key role in the next coming generations, and especially in terms of even influencing political decision, organizing avenues for creating political awareness, and even creating an avenue for airing political views. And at the moment, the youth and the young generation has found comfort in airing out their issues on social media, because they also find that it's an avenue that they are able to relate with their peers. And that's why there has been a lot of clamor on social media, and there has been a very great mobilization, because all these youth find themselves on social media. There's a very interesting stat that says that currently we can't stay 40 minutes without touching our phones, or even just checking for a notification. If you can just stay for more than 40 minutes, your concentration span is doing awesomely. But at the moment we've become addicted to our phones, we can't do for more than 40 minutes. So that tells you that all activities or all events happening globally or within even the country, within a span of 40 minutes, you are up to date with them. And that means even the political decisions, political mobilization, and conversations revolving around political issues. So I know and I believe that social media will be a major tool that will be used for political awareness in the next few coming years.
Okay.
And I think to crown it all, in as much as we do it on social media, because we've already been rendered the social media talk kind of people, we see qua ground, or when it comes to actually actualizing it, it's really happening. So people will talk about it online, people will have those conversations and debate about it. And when it comes to having those conversations, when it comes to industrialization, when it comes to politics, we are actually doing it on the ground. Yeah.
Awesome. So our final question, which okay, so social media has really influenced the activism and political wokeness in the continent. case scenario Kenya. There was that North African country. What was its name? Tunisia or Algeria? There was Algeria. We also social media was a very essential thing. And also, I think Egypt.
There has been a number of cases within Africa. We've experienced Ghana. We've experienced, is it Zimbabwe?
Recently,
We've also had
Togo.
Uganda. We've had Togo. We've had Nigeria.
Nigeria tried,
We've also had countries, for instance, Egypt, although theirs wasn't as widely reported. So we've actually had, if you've been keen, almost every country has experienced something, an impact has been influenced in a particular way. Maybe the coverage has not reached those high numbers, but we've had a huge wave across Africa.
Okay, so to the final question, so do you think this youthful wave that is currently going on, do you think that it has space for youths with disability and the youths that are in the rural setups and in marginalized communities? Do you think they really have that space in this whole youthful wave going on?
Just on a light note, there was a time I saw a conversation saying that Gen Zs are the ones who are based in the city. The others who are based in the rural areas are not Gen Zs.
Okay.
So already that's already a pointer to show you that there's definitely an issue about inclusion. There's in as much as there are a lot of shared values, interests, and pain points, there are also differences, especially when you compare those two demographic groups, those who are based in the urban areas and those who are based in the rural areas, in terms of how they feel, in terms of political oppression, in terms of how they feel the results, and let's say the impacts of corruption. So there is a difference in how all these social and political ills affect the two demographics. But in terms of persons with disabilities, I think they have really been included in the conversation. And there was a trending photo of, was it those short guys? Well, one of them was Mini, and then there was another with wheelchair. So we've really seen the people with disabilities really take a huge role and participate. So they've played their part. But there has also been key distinct features comparing the different demographics.
I agree. And to top to that, I feel like for the persons with disability in this current generation and youth, they have had a voice. We see it from the, let me call it, dark humor that is expressed online. It shows that these people, we accept them as they are and we're not victimizing them, and we also don't want them to feel sorry for themselves. And when they're out here, they also show that it's not a sorry state for them to be what they are. You're a bit different from us, but you're also part of us. So it is widely shown from things that are shared, conversations that are had, very inclusive of all kinds of people in terms of disability. And in terms of people from rural places and urban places, I feel like there needs to be conversations. There needs to be what should I call it? Sensitization of, because for someone who's uko mashinani, they're just thinking the roads should be okay. This school should have lights, but the conversation is not just based on the basic things that they are seeing from what they expect. So it should be more of us trickling down these conversations from where we are in the urban places to back there to the last person in the lowest place that we could think of, so that we can have inclusion of all kinds of people. But with this generation, I have to give them their congratulations for including persons. I think this is the best generation that has included persons with disability or people who are just different from the norm of what society expects. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's it. No more triggers. That's the end of my bullets.
Oh, nice.
But just to end up on that marginalization, yeah, we have our government spokesman. He's an albino, or we can put him as persons with who is abled differently.
Yeah, he's able
Yeah,
different.
we've had a lot of criticism come. The government of the day has come a lot of major criticism, but the people have really been very objective in how they criticize the government and especially individuals.
Yes.
We've not had attacks on the character of the individual, but rather we've had an attack on how the individuals have conducted themselves. In as much as we could also have an opportunity to go at them in the disabilities that they are having.
Yeah.
So we've really had also a mature
Approach.
demographic and a mature approach in how we've also tackled the issue, and also we've shown a lot of inclusion for people with disabilities.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's it. It was a really interesting conversation.
I
Thank you
agree.
guys for your insights, for your 2 cents. And yeah, so I think that's the end. Kendi, do you have any parting shot?
I've enjoyed the conversation, honestly, and I think it's conversations we should have as young people more and more often. Talk about even things that are hard to talk about, because that is where the issues start from. Because if you do not have the conversation, you'll think everything is okay. Start from where you are. Have those conversations even with older generations. Tell them where we stand and have our stand to the end of the day. Because if we want to be the change that we want to see, we have to keep going at it. So keep going at these hard conversations with our actions, of course. And I think it's amazing that these things are out here in the open. We have the opportunity. We have freedom of expression, which has not always been this great out there for over years. So it's a good conversation to have, and we should keep doing it. And we're doing well, if you ask me. We're doing great as a generation. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of more conversation, that's the end of this conversation, but stay tuned for more conversation and more episodes. Yeah, so
No Twitter time.
definitely. I enjoyed the conversation. So yeah, we'll make time and have some more talks.
Thank you.
Yeah, so until next time, adios.